All right, everybody, good evening. My name is Jermaine Cologne. I'm actually here for our first episode, our inaugural episode of Welcome to Real Deal Money Talks. So, again, my name is Jermaine Cologne. Just a little background about me and what this channel is about. Basically, I've been in banking about 15 years. I've worked with some of the biggest and best organizations on the planet. I've been a teller, I've been an assistant manager, I've been a branch manager, I've worked on loans, originated mortgages. I've seen every aspect of banking, good, bad, everything in between. And especially for black and brown individuals, it's very important you have base information when it comes to banking. So that's where I come in. I'm going to come in and try to help you get the information you need to have so you can go in and not become a victim of policies, procedures, rules, and regulations. I've seen it too many times where educated people, people who are living in poverty, I've seen the whole gambit of the rainbow when it comes to finances, and I've seen the bank take advantage of all those people. So I don't want that for our people. So I am going to launch this channel to basically try to help out and help you understand the banking industry. So let's start with today. Today we're going to do a basic banking 101 type of feel. So basically what we're going to do today is we're going to try to talk about some of the base things you should know whether you're working with an online bank, a brick and mortar institution, a credit union, any of those type of industries that you may have an account with, may be thinking about opening an account with. This is great information I'm about to give you that you should really, on your own, make sure that you are aware and knowledgeable of so that you cannot become a victim of the banking policies and procedures. So let's get started. Number one, you opening an account. You should be very, very careful of what you're signing. Read everything. It doesn't matter if it takes an extra 20 minutes to read it, if you're a slow reader, whatever the case is. If the individual opening that account is rushing you, that is a red flag for you. You should never be rushed to sign anything as important as a banking account, because depending on how you handle that bank account, that could affect if you get a mortgage down the line, a car loan down the line, student loans down the line. It affects a lot of things for you. So make sure that you're reading everything you sign. Disclosures, signature cards, verify, and verify again. It's the best thing I can tell you. Number two, make sure that after you open your account, and I cannot stress this enough, I've seen this too many times, okay? Make sure that you not only check your balance daily by one of the three following options and channels: online banking, mobile banking, or telephone banking. So you should be checking your balance daily when it comes to your account. Now, here's the big caveat to that. What a lot of people will do is say, oh, I've checked my account the whole month. I don't need to check my banking statement. Incorrect and false. That is the biggest misconception with banking, because 9 out of 10 of the bank fees that you are charged will come at the end of the cycle or the end of your statement. So that means when you get that statement that generates on online banking or mobile banking, you need to read it, because that's where the bank is going to try to sneak in a lot of overdraft fees, service charges, charges that may have went through 2 times, charges that are in there for the wrong amount, encoding errors where a purchase was supposed to come out for $27 and it's come out for $2,700. You know, depending on the amount in your account, these are little things that you may not pay attention to. And their hope is that you won't look at a statement. You'll just kind of forget about it and think, oh, I think that's in line with my normal everyday spending. Their hope is that you will just go ahead, throw that statement out, never think about it. But what I will tell you is this: make sure that if you are reading your statement, you verify your purchases, you verify your addresses, and verify your accounts. If you only opened a checking account with a particular bank, make sure your statement reflects that. Make sure your online banking reflects that. Because you've all heard of the Wells Fargo debacle. I'm pretty sure you're going to hear of other debacles that are going to come out later on down the line from other banks. Opening false accounts is not anything new. Opening false accounts to meet quotas is something that every bank has seen in some shape, form, or fashion over the years. As sales have become more aggressive and they've become the focal point of banking and not service, there has been more employee fraud. So you need to be careful. Verify by checking your banking statements. Verify by checking your online banking. If you do not get online banking or mobile banking or call in to check your balance, you are doing it wrong. Do not just assume that everything is okay, that the bank will call you, that someone will notify you. Those days are done and over with. You have to bring it to their attention. You have to show them that you are checking, because when you do that, they will not attempt to keep pushing the topic of trying to sneak those fees in there. But if you're a person that doesn't check, you are going to see a lot of fees if you go back over your statement. Which brings me to point number 3. Point number 3 is this: if you do find that there's a miscalculated fee on your account, make sure you know that bank's rules and regulations. And I'm pretty sure you're sitting there saying, Jermaine, how am I supposed to know their banking rules and regulations? It's very simple. When you open your account, you get a brochure. You get a packet of papers you are supposed to read. Now, typically, 10 out of 10 don't read it. They just assume the bank is on the up and up. There'll be no problems. Do not do this. Do not be a victim of this. Do not think that the bank is your best friend. Do not think that the bank does not look at you as a profit share and an asset. You need to protect yourself because no one else is going to. So, what I will say to you is this: if you find a fee that is incorrect on your statement, you need to make sure you go back to that day. You need to make sure that you go back to those purchases. Verify your balances. Verify those purchases. If they miscalculated, know the rules and regulations for that bank around overdrafts. They cannot dispute you when you know the rules and regulations. You can repeat them verbatim and you can show them the error. When people have used this tactic that I have taught them, they typically get a 10 out of 10 success rate with getting their fees back. I will say this is another reason you need to check your statements, going back to point number 2. Because if you go too far out into the past to try to get some fees back, and let's say you sit there and you find the bank's been charging you an incorrect fee for, let's say, the last maybe 8 months, the bank will tell you, we're not going to give all of them back even if it's our fault. What we will do is we'll give you a courtesy 2 back. So think about that in regular terms, right? You get robbed and the robber tells you, well, it's your lucky day, because even though I robbed you and I took all your money, I'm going to give you back $40 just so you have some money in your pocket. Is that going to make the situation better? Is that going to make your anxiety, your trust that's been lost, the time you had to take away from work to come in and dispute those things, is that going to make all of that better? Most likely not. And you can take it to the Federal Reserve, you can take it to regional managers, to managers, whoever you want to bump it up to. Nothing changes. These are standard practices, and it's done every day. So keep these things in mind, okay? 3 simple tips, but it's going to save you a lot. It's going to save you a lot of time, a lot of headache, a lot of frustration down the road. Because little do people know, these are some of the biggest reasons why when you go to a bank and say, hey, I need to apply for a mortgage, unless you can pay cash, a lot of times the banks will look for reasons to disqualify you. So you want to be careful with these things. Another thing that I want to really tell you about is be careful with who you allow to open your account. Everyone has some sense of a spirit of discernment, and for those of you that are church folk, you understand what I'm saying. But for those of you that aren't, a spirit of discernment is when you get around somebody and you can kind of feel the vibe. When you get around somebody and you can say, you know what, it just doesn't feel right. Something doesn't seem right. It doesn't sit right in my psyche right now with what's going on. You can get that vibe from most people. But when you're going into a bank, that's why they put, I hate to say this, people that look like me there. Because I don't look like I'm going to do you wrong. And the thing is this, I do things a little differently. The things I'm telling you now, I tell my customers. I get into a lot of trouble at the banks I've worked at for saying to people the things I'm saying. But I'm going to say this to you. Be careful of who you let open your account if you don't feel comfortable with a certain person open your account. Voice that opinion. Let that be known. Because I have also seen where my bank colleagues have taken someone's information and sold it. And when it's reported, nothing happens. So just be careful. Be alert. And protect yourself. So, again, this is a new channel for me. This is my first venture into YouTube. So, again, the name of the channel is Real Deal Money Talk. So, we're going to really break things down up here. We're really going to talk about the nitty-gritty stuff that other financial literacy coaches and counselors online won't tell you about. They won't go into detail. They'll make it nice and pretty and sugarcoat it for you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to keep it real with you and tell you what you need to know to protect yourself. So, again, this is a new venture for me. We'll probably be doing videos every 2 weeks just to kind of fill things out, fill out the audience, and see how things go. But our next topic is going to be budgeting and saving. Something that my black and brown communities, we have an extremely hard time with. And it puts us in some very bad situations where we have to work with some really bad people to get loans. We have to work with some bad organizations who give us some high interest rates, some horrible terms. So next time we meet, we will talk about that. We will go through that, and I will kind of go through lending terms, lending terminology, so you know what you're getting into. You know what comes off like a predatory loan and what is a really good situation for you. So again, tune in next week, subscribe, click the like, comment. I'll try to reply back to everyone that comments. And please share the page. Tell everybody about it. If there's something you want me to talk about, or if there's content that I'm not covering, you want me to cover, absolutely, please let me know. Email me. My honest email is jlcolon, so that's JLCOLON 2006 at AOL.com. Yes, I still have an AOL account, but that's besides the point. This is a channel for the people. This is a channel to create and help break new lines of generational wealth and to break generational curses. So let's teach our children, let's teach our brothers, let's teach our sisters financial education. Let's give them information that they maybe didn't have before. And with that, I bid you adieu. God bless you, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Amen.